Okay, now we're going to be solving equations. The first method is factoring. So if we're going to factor, we need one side of the equal sign to be 0. So we'll add 8 to both sides. When we add 8 to both sides, we end up with n squared plus n, subtract 42. Well, what are factors of 42? Negative 42, that add up to positive 1. Well, that would be positive 7, negative 6. So you go ahead and put those in as factors. Then you just simply write what the n's equal. So you take the opposite of each of those. So n is equal to negative 7 and n is equal to 6. And then write it in the solution format. Okay, the next type that we're going to do, so that was the factoring method. This is completing the square method. So in order to complete the square, you first want to make sure that the lead coefficient is 1. And if it is, you want to get these first two items by themselves. So in order to do that, we're going to add 43 to both sides. So now we have x squared subtract 2x. I'm going to put plus blank, and if we add something to the left, we need to add something to the right. And then remember, what goes in the blank is the c value, and c value is equal to half of b, and then you square it. So half of 2 is 1. It doesn't matter if it's positive or negative, because you square it, it'll always be a positive number. So I'm just going to say half of 2 is 1. 1 squared is 1. So I'm going to add 1 to both sides. I think that's what I did down here below. Yep, I did. All right, and we do all of this for the express reason of getting this to be a perfect square trinomial. Well, perfect square trinomial can factor to a binomial square. You take the square root of the first thing, you take the square root of the third thing, and then you take the first operator. And that's what we did here. Oh, I didn't put it in. So the square root of x squared, the square root of 1, and then the subtract sign is the operator. And then you do inverse operations. The inverse of squaring is square root. And when you take the square root of the right side, the result will be both the positive and the negative. And then we're going to add 1 to both sides. And when we do that, x will equal, I'm going to go ahead and put it in the solution set brackets now. X equals positive 1, subtract root 39, and x equals to positive 1 plus root 39. All right, so that's completing the square method. Now we're going to go on to the square root method. Well, the square root method is one of the easiest methods. You just need to get that x squared by itself. So we're going to subtract 6 on both sides, and then we're going to have 81x squared is equal to 36. We still need to get the x squared by itself. So then you're going to divide both sides by 81. When you do that, you end up with x squared is equal to 36 over 81. And then the undoing of squaring is square rooting. When you take the square root, you have to take both the positive and negative. So x is equal to both positive and negative. The square root of 36 is 6. The square root of 81 is 9. But then 6/9 reduces. They both have a 3 in common. So 2 times, well, I should have written it backwards. 2 times 3 and 3 times 3. And the 3's cancel, leaving positive and negative 2/3. All right. So one last method for solving. So we did factoring method. We did completing the square method. We did the square root method. And now we're going to, let me just get this out of the way. Do the quadratic formula method. So let me cover all of this stuff up. So in order to do the quadratic formula, you need, again, one side to be 0, so we'll add 9 to both sides, and that zeroes out the right side. That's probably what I did there. And then I left off the is equal to 0. And then you identify the a, the b, and the c, and then you plug it into the quadratic formula. X is equal to the opposite of b plus or minus b squared, in fact I should have put this in parentheses, subtract 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. So remember, the a is 5, so there's going to be a 5 that goes there and a 5 that goes there. Well, the b value is -4, so -4 goes there and -4 goes there. So that's the opposite of -4. Then finally, the c value is 9. And I think I did that down below here. I did. And then you simplify. -4 squared is 16. Subtract 4 times 5 is 20 times 8 is 180. The opposite of -4 is going to be +4. So 16 subtract 180 is and then 2 times 5, I forgot to say that, is -164, I think. And then I just did some factoring. So we factored out a -1. I know a 4 goes into this. So there we have it, 41. And now what is the square root of -1? Well, that's an I. The square root of 4 is 2. And what we have left in the radical is 41. So we have 4 plus or minus 2i times root 41 all over 10. And then 4, 2, and 10 all have a 2 in common. So you divide all of those things by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2i divided by 2 is just the I. 10 divided by 2 is 5. And so now we have x is equal to 2 subtract I root 41 divided by 5 and 2 plus I root 41 all divide by 5. All right, that's it.